everybody to the MLS Open Forum socially distanced version. We have a great speaker for you today, Dave Knob on trends. He is a awesome speaker. Dave has been around for quite a while in the Bakersfield industry. He's been a past president of the Association of Realtors, and he knows more about trends and about all of this than I would ever think about. We do want to thank our gift card sponsors today, Mike and Sherry George from Agape Mortgage. They do a great job, and we appreciate their support and sponsorship for this. So, without any ado, let's go ahead and let's turn it over to Mr. Dave Knob.
First of all, I said thank you very much, Tim, for having me. I kind of wanted to just give a little touch exactly what I'm doing right now, because it seems like I'm going crazy. There's a lot going on. For those of you who don't know me, my name is David Knob, and hopefully that's a short list. Currently, I'm in the NAR, and I am an RPAC trustee. And what RPAC stands for is Realtor Political Action Committee. I've been a member since 2018, and I'll continue until 2021. I'm also an NAR director, and I've been currently serving as 2020, and I'll also be the director in 2021. And California Association of Realtors, I have a couple of jobs there too that I think are pretty important. The first one is CREPAC trustee. And what CREPAC stands for is the California Real Estate Political Action Committee. I've been a member since 2018, and I will continue to be a member until 2021. In 2021, I will be the vice chair of CREPAC, and I consider that to be a huge honor. I'm also in Investment Housing Committee, and I'm also the liaison for Region 12 between the Investment Housing Committee. And basically what I do is I attend the meetings in the Investment Housing Committee, and I report back to Region 12. I've been a CAR director since 2012. I'm a past Region 12 chair in 2018, and of course I'm a past president. Currently at the local level, I'm an SPF committee member, and I'm also an orientation committee member. Basically, I do an introductional course on ethics for new agents, and I've been doing that since about 2009. I own and operate Frontier Real Estate Services, and we manage over 700 properties. I have 6 HOAs. I flip about 4 to 8 houses per year, and we also work with buyers and sellers on residential and commercial properties. So today I've been asked to talk about what's going on in our neighborhood. Basically, we're going to talk about trends. And then I've also been asked to find out what's going on in Sacramento during the coronavirus, and should we be worried? And so those are going to be my 2 topics. As I start with trends, I'll go through trends, and of course, if there is any questions at all, feel free to ask your questions. I'll go through trends, and then I'll stop and I'll have a Q&A at that point in time. So if there are any questions, hopefully you can hold off until the end. But if you need to talk to me right away, please feel free to do it. So first, let's talk about trends. Normally, at this point in time, I would ask you, what kind of market do you think we're in, buyers or sellers? And I think everybody knows it. How to get to trends, you just log on your MLS, and you'll see up here in the top toolbar, you'll have search, listings, and trends, and you would just click on trends. And let's pop this up, make it a little higher. And what's going to happen is basically your settings are going to be already set for all areas of Kern County and all residential properties. You're going to get about 14 months of data. And this data is really important because it's going to help you have a better understanding of your market when you're talking to buyers and sellers. So what I want to talk about right now is just really the last couple of months is what I'm going to be focusing on. You're going to have things here. You're going to have the for sales, is it the light green? These are properties that are right now currently for sale all the way to the end of June. The solds are the dark green, and you can see the numbers underneath here. These are the solds, the number of properties that are sold. And then of course you have pendings. And you can see the pendings are the red line as they go through. And as you can see in April, we had 502 pendings at the end of April. Then it jumped to 746, then it jumped to 892, and now it's up to 992. a huge jump in pendings, and you also see a major decline in listings. A lot of this could happen to be because of COVID. There's a lot of reasons for it, but this is something that there's a snapshot, and this is one of the things that I like to look at. The other thing I like to do is come up and highlight market highlights. And what it does, it gives you information. For example, homes for sale in July of 2020, there's 779 units. That's down 5.9 compared to last month. And it's down 46.7 compared to last year. Homes closed in July of 2020 was 764 units. That's up by 5.7% compared to just last month alone. And it's up 1.7 compared to last year. Homes placed under contract in July of 2020, that's 992 units. That's 11.2% compared to last month increase, and a 22% increase compared to last year. Also up here where you see for sale, sold, and pending, there's a little drop box there, and you can click that. And you can come down here and find other information. And some of the things that I like to do is compare pendings to new listings. In June or July of this month, we had 945 new listings, but we had 992 pending. That's pretty rare. That hardly ever happens where we have more pending than listing. And so if you can look at the graph back in the last 12 months, you can see the changes always, but you hardly ever see it in this direction. And so I want to bring that up. I still like to snapshot. I like to stay with this photo. This is something I like. It's really interesting because it hits all three: the actives, the solds, and the pendings. Good information. Next, average price per square foot. This is also pretty good too, because in last month when we were sitting around talking, I thought there would be about a $2 increase. I didn't realize there was going to be a $3 increase, and that's a big jump. And you can see last year between June and December, it was really $1 here, $1 there, no big jump anywhere. And here in March, at the beginning of COVID, we went from 149 to 156. We had a small 2 months drops, and then the last 2 months continue. We are seeing offers of 10, 15, and 20,000 above appraisal and above asking. So I expect this trend to continue for next month. Now let's go to days on the market, sold versus list price. On the very top here, you're going to see this is the original list price and the selling price, and basically saying that they're running about 98% from each other. And then down on the bottom, you're going to see the days on market. And as you can see, we are down to 31. This time last year, we were at 30. So we were pretty, property staying on the market was about the same. Here's something that I also like to do is I like to come over here and I like to look at sales price versus list price. And that changes. So basically now we're at 99, and we've been there for the last 4 months. A lot of times people list their properties originally higher than say the market will bear, and eventually they lower their price to a lower price that the market will bear, and then all of a sudden they sell their property. So this is kind of a good indicator that that's happening, that the properties are being listed at the right price and that they're selling accordingly. But when I first come on here, I always like looking at this slide right here. This is kind of like my favorite slide. Next, and also when you are looking at these things, and I'm going to stop right back here, look at market highlight, because it gives you some additional information. The average days on the market in July of 2020 is 31 days. That's down 6.1 compared to last month and up 3.3 compared to last year. In July 2020, sold versus original list price ratios, they're about the same. And so it just shows that how the prices are not changing that much from the original list price. They're all staying right around 98 and 97. Okay, now let's go to here. Now we're on average price for sale and average price sold. And this is pretty interesting too. As you're looking at this slide here, you can see how we're trending up. people are putting their houses on the market. As this becomes a stronger seller's market, you'll see these numbers continue to go higher. And the reason they'll go higher is because sellers believe that their property is worth more, and because it is a seller's market, that they can get more for their properties. And this is what they're selling for. And look, they're exactly right, because these are coming up as well. This time, June last year, we were at 264. Now we're at $286 per square foot. That's a big price increase. Or I'm sorry, 286,000 from 264,000 purchase price. So that's a huge increase. And I continue that trend to continue in the next few months. Now here comes the fun stuff. Months of inventory. Look at that. We're down to 1 month of inventory. Typically, we stay up in the higher 2s and 3s. A good, healthy market is between 3 and 6. This way, it can go buyer and seller. They both have they can negotiate prices. The properties are not staying on the market too long. Buyers have a chance to buy properties. But right now, with people are putting in, I actually even put an offer in on a property just the other day, and there was 5 or 6 offers, and it went for $10,000 over the appraised value, and we couldn't do that, or my buyer couldn't match that. So it's going to take a lot of buyers out of the market until this thing changes a little bit. But as you can see, we're down to 1 month of inventory. Now my question, there's more to this. There's these tabs in here that has a lot of information up here. But to really determine whether you're in a buyer's market or a seller's market, you need to know the rule of thumb. And the rule of thumb is if the absorption rate is less than 16.67, it indicates a strong buyer's market, while an absorption rate greater than 33.33% indicates a strong seller's market. These numbers are not wrong, and you're probably going to fall over when you see them. But let's look at our absorption rate based on closed sales. And I've never seen them this high. 98.1%. When you look at that, what it tells you that the absorption rate for the closed sales in July is 98.1, which is up 12.4 compared to last month. But it's up 90.9 compared to last year. Wow. That is a huge, huge jump. I also want to go back and I want to show you the absorption rates versus pending sales, because when I'm trying to project what's going to happen in the future when you buy a property to flip, or you want to talk to a buyer or a seller and tell them where they need to market their property, you also need to look at the pendings. So when you click on the pendings, it's at 127.3. And when you look at that, that is up 18.2% compared to last month, but up 128.9 compared to last year. Now I want to go back just a second. I'm going to click right here on the close, and I want to share something with you that I have planned already. So give me just a second here. I'm going to go back to 07 in January, and we're going to go to March of 2008. And show chart. The absorption rate on closed properties was between 7.5, got as low as 4.8, and back as high as back to 7.9%. Based on that information, we were at a seller's market. And I also want to show you, it confirmed it when you look at the pendings as well. I like to look at history and see what we did in the past, kind of compare what we're going to be doing in the future. So let me go back to my original chart. And there's your sell pending. This charts are really important to use, especially if you're trying to get a listing. You can customize these charts to fit anything you want. You can come in here and you can click area 21 if you're looking to buy a property or list a property in there, and you can click the chart check, update the chart, and it will give you statistics Oops, I'm sorry. I forget you got to unclick all areas. Sorry about that. Now it's going to give you everything that's going on in area 21. This is great material if you're trying to use this to get a listing from a buyer or from a seller trying to get a listing. If you have a buyer that wants to, who's read a book and wants to offer $10,000 or $20,000 less than market value or the list price, you might want to bring these charts and show them what's going on in that area so they can have a better understanding, so you can get them to write an offer that you have a better chance of getting accepted. That is our trends. It's a short report. It's not a whole lot. Is there any questions at all so far of what we're talking about? Is there a slide that we'd like to go back over and discuss?
Wow, Dave, that's really some amazing stats there, and I can see where this would be a great tool for our realtors to go and get those listings.
Yeah, and it's, you know, what's really nice about this, it's really easy, and I'm sincere when I say that, to fill out a report. Like for example, if you had an area in 21, you know, you saw me just click 2 buttons, and I can come over here and I can customize this report, and then I can come over here and print it. It looks like you spent hours and hours on this report. It gives you tons of information, and it gives you instant credibility. One of the things that I like to joke about is I tell everybody, you know, out of every time I've ever used Trends, I've never not got the listing, not once. And so I challenge everybody, if you use Trends and you go out and you don't get the listing, that I would buy you a lunch. But if you use Trends and you get the listing, you owe me lunch. And so far, I haven't bought any lunches, but no one's paying up. No one bought me lunch yet. So hopefully that changes soon.
Hey, Dave?
Yes.
We had a question. What does absorption rate mean?
Perfect. Let me get over to it and give me a second. I'll explain it to you. Money. And okay, absorption rate. That means based on the sales, the pendings that we have, basis towards the properties that we have available on the market, that 127, so 100, so if we get 1,000 properties coming on the market as listings, that means 127 or 27.3% more. We need more than that just to meet our absorption rate. So we have more properties going and sell pending than we actually have properties coming into the market as new listings.
Wow. Wow. That's all really good stuff.
And when you base that on closed sales, you know, 98%, like I said, I've been watching Trends for many years now, and I've never seen it this high. It's just not something that you see. And even in back, you know, when we were in 2000 to 2007, in the high of the market and things where we had a real low inventory and everything else, I did not see the absorption rates that high. I don't know if we had Trends back then. I don't remember it, but I'm just saying I've never seen it. And I've been doing it, like I said, back in 07, I did some research there just so you guys could see that, and how it's a different market now where we're having so many properties. Basically, it's a strong seller's market, and it's going to stay that way. And another thing I like to do is change the price settings.
I have a quick question about the absorption rate before you keep going on. You're moving a little fast for me.
Okay.
Because I felt the definition wasn't extremely clear, or maybe it was just so fast it got over my head. So you're saying we need 27% more properties on the market to be able to keep up with people buying properties? Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
Okay. So I did understand. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, based on the closes, we're at 98%. So when we reach 100%, that would mean if we got 1,000 houses on new listings, we would sell 1,000 houses in that month. We're out. It's zero. We're constantly bringing them in, but they're going out just as fast as we're bringing them in.
Yeah. Okay, great.
Now it's going to go back. Most of the times when I discuss trends and we talk about whether we're in a market, in a buyer's market or seller's market, the indicator is usually down here, as you can see where I got my mouse here, and I'm going to increase this to about 325 or 350,000. And so I'm going to see only houses at 350,000 and higher, and I'm going to show the chart. And look at that. That is rare. That is extremely rare. And the reason I say that, because most of the time when I go to the 350,000 mark, it switches back to a buyer's market. And right now it's not. It is really clear that it is a seller's market, even in the high end. And I'll go to pendings as well. And the rule of thumb is always remember, a buyer's market is at 16.67% or below, and a seller's market is at 33.33% and above. So as you're looking at these numbers, you can see we're well above 33.33%.
So what this is telling us, Dave, is it's a seller's market no matter what price range you're in here in Bakersfield or in Kern County.
And that is rare.
Yeah.
Usually the cutoff and the normal is about 3.25 to 350, and that's usually where I find the cutoff. And almost every time that I speak, that's one of the things I check right away is, well, where's the cutoff? And today I knew for a fact I couldn't say that, because you can see the numbers, even at 350, it's still a seller's market.
It's amazing. We are in good times for real estate, and it is a hot market out there, definitely.
Well, you know, it's funny you say we're in good times and it's a hot market, but you know, one of the things you need to look at, there are a lot of properties that are selling, but there's not a lot of listings.
Therein lies the problem, is getting your offer accepted.
Yes, you have the buyer, you have an abundance of buyers, but man, there's just not a lot of properties.
And arming yourself with the most statistics or the best statistics you can for your client definitely makes you the expert, and will help your client to understand all of the craziness we have in this market right now, and to get them from point A to point B a little easier.
And I also want to go back to January 2007, March 8th, because I didn't show you this chart. And I just wanted you to see this. These were your active listings. Look at this. Those were your active. We were in the 4,000s to 5,000. Our top was 5,952 back in the 07 when the market crashed. And look at your pendings and sales.
Dave, we had a few questions come up. First of all, are you noticing any appraisal problems out there, or any problems with our appraisals coming in?
I haven't heard of anything, and I'd open that up to the group. I haven't heard of anything on the appraisal issues right now. It looks like Jean Razik has her hand up, but I haven't heard of any.
And how do you think this is going to play out with the after COVID-19? Do you think we're going to stabilize out as a more even market to where we were before, or what do you see happening?
You know, we have an election coming. We have COVID-19 to deal with. We have a lot of things going on in Sacramento. I'm as confused as everyone else, I think.
I hear you, and also the question is about the REOs and foreclosures.
Well, foreclosures started. They opened back up on Monday, by the way. For those of you who don't know that, they actually had some properties on the steps. There was some more scheduled for on the 5th and 6th of this month, and some scheduled for next month. So I do know that there's actually some properties being sold at the steps, and I was pretty shocked to see that hasn't been postponed until a later date.
Hey, we have a question from Jeannie Radsick.
Yep.
I just wanted to comment on the appraisal question. Have we had any issues with appraisals? Oh, heck yes. Big yes. You know, the appraiser's number one. I just got an appointment yesterday that we put into escrow a week and a half ago, and the appointment is for August 21st. Our close date is projected to be the 27th. We won't even have the appraisal back by then. So the appraisal issues are that these guys are so overwhelmed because everybody's refining and everything else. So the appraisers are so overwhelmed that they're just trying to slam them through. I have had several properties that were listed at market rate that the appraisal is coming in off. I've got one on the east side that the appraiser was kind enough to call the lender and say, you know, I'm coming in 60 or 70,000 below your list price. Do you want me to continue?
Wow.
You know, that is not a good sign. There were
No.
multiple offers on this property at 415, multiple offers. And he thinks he's going to bring it in at 360 to 365. 5 years ago, they paid 360. That was before all the improvements. So yeah, we're having some serious issues.
I agree with that statement, Jeannie, that you're making, because I have seen appraisers coming in low with this hot market, and that's really, it just doesn't make sense.
Well, but it does make sense, because if they're being required to go backwards and don't have a formula yet going forwards. The last time we had the run up in pricing, which was 04 and 05, they would project X amount % in rising market costs, but they're not there yet.
Yeah.
So if they're going backwards looking at historical sales before this run up, they can't get there.
So do you think they're trying to do like a stabilization method because they don't want to have what happened in 2006, 2007 happen again?
No, what they're doing is protecting themselves, because the reason we have Dodd-Frank and all the appraisal issues now is because of the way it was handled back in 4 and 5. These guys, if you challenge one of their appraisers, that's strike one. If they get 3, they may be taken off the wheel. There's their livelihood.
Okay, that's good to know.
So they're always more cautious today than they were back in the day.
You know, Jeannie, you bring up a good point. One of the things that I just did 4 refis, and out of the 4 refis, I only paid for 1 appraisal. They ended up doing desktops because they couldn't get an appraiser out there. I didn't even think of it. I wasn't looking at it that way. I thought you guys were talking about as far as bringing in value. I haven't had that issue.
Yeah, but it is a two-headed snake at the moment. It's not only that you can't get them done, but that they're coming in low compared to what the market is feeling. When you've got 12 or 15 offers on a property, you know, and then you have to back up. Somebody's offered 20,000 more, and then you have to back up. It's not a pretty picture.
Now, I've been told also that if you have multiple offers on a home, you can take those offers that were given and you can present those also to the appraiser to support your comps or your costs.
That's right. And this appraiser acknowledged that he knew we were in multiple offers. He knew that.
And he still wouldn't.
Well, you know, we've now gone to round 2, and so we're asking for a second appraisal. I mean, we canceled that first one because if this guy already has in his head that he's going to be 60,000 under, there's no point in trying to swim upstream. Even if he came up 20,000, he's not going to come up 60,000, right?
Very true.
So we just canceled that appraisal, and I have to tell you, I find that very professional of him to call ahead of time before he finishes it and charges you $500 and says, look, I don't think we're going to get there. You know, so I'm really not picking on that appraiser. He's a good appraiser, but but there was no way to continue, or no reason in my mind to continue when we knew he was already below it.
Right, exactly. No reason to beat a dead horse. So, Mr. Knob, what is going on in government?
Oh boy.
Well, actually, can I interrupt really quick?
Sure.
Okay, Dave, while you're still in this, I have kind of a question, and I always appreciate when you teach it, Dave, because I always learn stuff every time you teach it. But there are some additional items in this trends program that the GMLS pays extra for, and I was just curious if it's a great tool or it's, you know, money we shouldn't spend. But if you can help me out, Dave, at the top, to the right of the email print, save graft, there's 2 items to the right. One of them is the market summary, which kind of summarizes in paragraph form of how the market's doing. The other one is post to web, which you can pull the graph you like and you copy the code, the HTML code, and put it on your website. And every month that graph updates on its own. So we actually pay a little extra for those additional items. And I'm not too sure if anyone uses them or do you think it's a great feature or not. But again, the market summary and the post to web are 2 other features that were add-ons. And another thing, if I missed it, Dave, I apologize. But at the bottom, can you click that icon where it says data table down a little more from your mouse? Yeah, up, no, to the right. The right more, and then up.
Okay, hold on.
Data table underneath like the little graph.
Oh, here.
No, down. Okay, stay there and go down.
Right
Stop.
there.
Perfect. Click that. So you can copy this into Excel, and this kind of tells you a breakdown of how that month or your criteria that you had. So some people grab this, throw it in Excel, and then auto-formulate, some stuff. So they play with it. That's included in Trends. That's not an added on. So anyway, thank you.
Not good stuff. I don't post on my web, so I don't even do Facebook. I'm sorry, I just don't. Not much into marketing. I don't do much marketing other than printing out trends reports, and I use that in my marketing materials when I'm trying to get a listing, especially with somebody that I don't know, because I think it gives me instant credibility. And not only that, but you spend just a few minutes with trends, you have a really good understanding of what's going on in the market. And I think that's always important, especially when you're going to be representing buyers and sellers. Anybody ever used post to web?
No, what is that, Dave?
Well, that's what he's talking about, that post to web. I'm assuming you can just post this to your website, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you pick the graph. It looks like we have one comment. Sue says she really likes it. But yeah, you pull up the graph you like, you copy the code, set it once, and then forget about it, and it just updates. And like I said, that market summary, you could find the graph you like. If you do like a newsletter, you can save the graph, grab that market summary information to the left of post to web, and it's just paragraph form, and you can include that. So it kind of tells you how the market is. And that gets updated every month.
And also when you're printing this chart and stuff, you can add this data table, you can add it to your charts or leave it off. I always find that it's just like sometimes too much information and it kind of doesn't make the graph look as nice. And so I usually leave the data tables off when I do my printing, but it's real easy to print this report and you can customize the report, put your name on it and things like that. And like I said, it looks like you spent hours and you can actually print out one of these reports in probably less than 5 minutes.
Awesome, Dave. Awesome. All good information. We need all the help we can get with this fast-moving market that we have.
Okay, any other questions regarding trends?
I don't see anything.
Not seeing any hands going up. Okay, so let's switch. Let's talk about what's going on in Sacramento. And give me just a second here. Okay. What I'm about to show you is a report that I get constantly from Sacramento. Basically, it talks about some of the things that are assembly bills and Senate bills. And I kind of want to give you guys an idea. When you guys see an AB in front of a bill, that's telling you it's coming from the assembly. And when you get an SB in front of a bill, it's going to tell you it's a Senate bill. And I donate to RPAC, just so you guys know. I'm a major donor. I've been since 2000, I think since 2010. And it's because it's something I believe. I believe in investing in RPAC and RAF because they are our political power. They help us through all the different legislations that we have to deal with, because I can't be in Sacramento all the time and they go for me. They're there all the time. And so this is my latest hot sheet, and I'm going to kind of go through it really slow. But these are all the current bills. Now, when you see it highlighted in red, that means this is a bill that we are opposed. And when I say we, I'm saying the California Association of Realtors. I'm going to stop at AB 828 by Ting. This is an eviction and foreclosure moratorium because of COVID-19. CAR opposes AB 828. A bill, as originally amended, would have effectively forced a 25% reduction in rent. The bill was amended to remove the court-ordered 25% rent reduction requirement. However, CAR still opposes the bill because it provides no financial protection for property owners who must still pay their mortgage and have legal obligation to repair and maintain their property. Specifically, in an unlawful detainer lawsuit for non-payment of rent, AB 828 requires courts to assume there is no financial hardship for a property owner who owns 10 or more units. And we get bills like this all the time. And I just want you guys to imagine, for those of you who do not own any property at all, I want you to imagine if the government said all wages are to be reduced by 25% across the country. How would you feel? These are some of the things that your political action funds go to fight. And I'm going to continue going down. I'm not going to read them all because there's too many. But that's that one. Then we have AB 1035 that we're opposed. I'm sorry, 1035 that we support. Then there's AB 1486 we oppose. And then, of course, Bloom. And this is basically giving an organization up. So you decide you want to sell your property, you have to give them a notice. They have 8 months for a qualified organization to have first right of refusal to whether or not who you sell your property to. Here are a few more. Just keep going. And these are all done in the assembly. These are all assembly bills that I'm showing, but there are some that we do support. And there we go. I'm just going to keep going down. There's a lot of them. Now we're going to go into the Senate bills. And here are some of the Senate bills that are going on. Again, some we support, some we do oppose. And currently, right now, in the Senate, I hope I'm not going too fast for everybody. I'm trying to get down to the bottom. Sorry. I just kind of want you to what's going on. Currently, there's 34 bills in Sacramento affecting real estate. In the assembly bills, there's 21, 9 of them that are opposed by CAR, 9 that are supported by CAR, and there's 3 bills that can be supported or opposed depending on how they are amended. The Senate bill, currently there's 13 bills affecting real estate. 4 of them we oppose, and 9 of them we support. I don't know if all of you guys remember Proposition 10, which we defeated it on the ballot, and then they came in with AB 1482 with rent control, and that was passed. Lucky for CAR and our legislators and things like that, that we were able to get some other amendments done to that bill, or it would have been worse for homeowners. Another thing that you need to realize are RPAC funds. In 2016, the election, we won 97% of our races, and RPAC is the most bipartisan major PAC in the country. And we are not Republicans, we are not Democrats, we are the Realtor Party. We want to protect property rights. And we had, last time we checked, we had 11% of our members that were donating to RPAC in our association. And really that is sad. We need everyone to start donating at least $20 a year. It's an investment in our business. We have hundreds hundreds of laws every year coming in that are affecting our real estate bills, or our business that's costing us money. It's going to cost us in the money if we can't, or more money if we don't continue to fight them. And that gives you just a snapshot of some of the things that are on in Sacramento. Now I'll open it up for any questions.
Hey, Dave, we did have a question. This information, is this available on CAR's website, or where can we access this at?
No, it's not access on CAR. Not full. I don't get mine from CAR, by the way. Or I mean, I get mine from the California Association of Realtors, but I go directly to the source. I am on CREPAC, and I'm also on the investment housing. And so I make a few phone calls. I know some people that work at CAR, and I call them and I get the latest and greatest update. So when I'm making decisions on, for example, if I go to CREPAC and they want to sponsor somebody who's promoting a bill that maybe I don't like, or maybe they're promoting a bill that I support, that our California Association of Realtors support, then it helps me have a better understanding how much money we should give to these candidates for that position.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, we all need to donate to protect our rights and the rights of our landlords and buyers and renters.
Well, you know, it's a small investment when you really think about it. $20. I mean, $20 is nothing. The true cost of doing business, you do the 49 and then you have to pay another 148. That's the true cost of doing business. And that's a voluntary 148. But there's others that are sterling R's that give 1,000, crystal R's that give 2,500 a year, golden R's give 5,000, platinums give 10,000 a year, or their initial investment. And I encourage everyone to really think about this, because, you know, here's COVID-19, we were deemed unessential. And if it wasn't for our legislators at the Capitol Hill and everything else to go talk to the governor and make us essential, our business would have been completely shut down during COVID-19. And it was those political dollars that helped turn that around and make us essential. So I think it's really important that sales managers and individuals reach out to our board, say, hey, let me pay $20. Let me pay $148. How do I become a sterling R? If you want to know, give me a call, I'll help you. But I think all of you guys should reach out and try to make some kind of effort to help us fight, because this fight's not going away. I remember a few years ago when I first started, I think it was 2010 or 11, when I first got into it and I went to Sacramento. At that point in time, there was 400 laws that were affecting real estate.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's a big battle. So yeah. They're constantly looking for ways to tax and get more revenue. And unfortunately, real estate is something that we have to protect.
Most definitely, that's our livelihood.
Yep, sir.
Dave, was there anything else you had for us today?
No, make sure you vote.
Most definitely, that's.
I would like to say vote often, but you're only allowed to vote once.
That is our right, whether it's in person or through mail. Who knows how all this is going to go. It's really a crazy world that we have to deal with right now, but we're going to make it through. Also, we will not have house pitches today because of the current market that we're in. And Lorenzo wants to know, let's see here, with the statistics that you know, do you see a foreclosure season in the near future?
Well, I do know that the steps opened up on Monday. How long that's going to last, I don't know. I was shocked because I buy properties at the auction too, and one of my clients called me up and told me, hey, they're selling properties again. I go, you're kidding me. And I went and looked, and sure enough, they are. So how long this is going to last, I don't know.
Yeah, that's the crystal ball again, right?
Yes, sir. I thought for sure that it would end it wouldn't go very long.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, Judy, you had another comment you wanted to make? Is Judy out there?
Yeah, I had to unmute myself.
Okay.
Hey, David, I sent something to you. There's the bill, and I don't remember the number because I don't have it in front of me right now. The bill that has to do with taking your property taxes from county to county as seniors that's showing up on the November ballot. And I know I've been in contact because I do a lot in the active adult communities, and we have, this is a very important bill that needs to be passed. CAR, it was on the ballot, what, 2 years ago? And I just figured it would go through, and it didn't.
That was Proposition 5 last year, and back in 26.
Right, it was about 16, right.
That was Proposition
It's about
5.
2 or 3 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, and it will be back. CAR
Yes.
is moving forward on it. I don't have the latest and greatest on that. Jeannie, if you don't mind me picking on you, can you give us an update on that?
Coming to your ballot as Proposition 19, and it has gone through the Assembly and the Senate. We've got just about everyone's support. The only people that are fighting it is the Jarvis group, and they are just putting out a plethora of poor information. They're saying it's going to undo Prop 13. It's going to do this. I mean, they're just being very negative. The biggest change, Judy, and I'm glad you asked, the biggest change is that you can still transfer the property, your property to your heirs, but they have to live in it. So you're not going to get this tax exemption for a rental property. And that's been the biggest issue that we're seeing. So it is going to enhance Prop 13. It will allow people over 55 to transfer their property tax base from county to county. We've gotten down to 11 counties accepting that transfer. This will make everyone have to accept your transfer, and you can buy up or buy down. The original Prop 13 said you had to buy down. Well, if you bought a house in 1978 and tried to transfer down today, you'd be buying a doghouse, and that's just not, there's nothing out there in that kind of a price point, right? So this allows you to buy a more expensive property, but you don't get a free ride, meaning that you can transfer the property tax base up to the amount of value that's being transferred, and then you pay full freight on the amount over that. So you can't go from a $250,000 tax base to $1 million tax base and pay taxes just on the $250,000. That wouldn't make sense. So we have the firefighters union. That's actually, the firefighters union was who was opposing it when it was Prop 5. And so we've mitigated those issues. You also can transfer your tax base if you are disabled or have been the victim of a natural disaster. So it does spread it out a little bit more. It does make it more usable, but it has to be proactive, just like it does now. If you don't apply for it, you don't automatically get it. So you have to know about it. So it's going to be realtor's responsibility, I'm just telling you, to make sure your clients are aware of it. If you ask, I mean, I asked about a year ago at something at our association, I said, how many of you know what Prop 13 is? Well, with the new generation of folks, they don't know what Prop 13 is because they haven't experienced it.
Very true.
So it'll be up to us to make sure that that information gets out there. What it's looking like right now is that we are on track to pass this pretty handily, but it's still going to make sure, got to beat the drum. Got to make sure people know about it.
Awesome. Awesome. Most good information, Jeannie. Thank you. Really
Thank you,
appreciate
Jeannie.
that.
Welcome.
Hey, I think Jamie has a few things he wants to go over with the MLS rules.
Yes, I do. Thank you, Tim. So a couple of broadcast notices I placed yesterday. One of them for local schools, we have the autofill. We get the data from Home Junction. It's going to autofill the elementary school, junior high, and high school. It says deemed reliable, but not verified or guaranteed. So if you know it's incorrect, you have the ability to change it. I also have a link on how to search the high school district to find the high school. It tells you the elementary district. It provides the phone number so you can pick up the phone and call to verify the schools or information. I mean, to make sure it's correct. Also, if you're on the selling side, verify the schools. I've been getting a lot of complaints where the schools aren't correct because of recent boundary changes. And, you know, just because the listing agent put that information in on the buyer side, because some people buy just so that their kids can go to a certain school. So very important that you verify these schools, because I've been getting more and more calls on this. The other thing I want to talk about is a recent change to the citation policy for one MLS rule. The citation policy on the automatic fines is normally $250 for the first offense. This one rule has jumped up to $500 because it's being violated so much. And all that hard work to make our members essential, this is going to ruin it for everybody. So they're not following the CAR guidelines on how to show properties. We encourage you to use, I have some verbiage, put that in your agent remarks, must follow these showing instructions, because then the GMLS can enforce them. So if you do not add that extra verbiage, I do not have an MLS rule to enforce them. So we're getting video from the little doorbell ring cameras where people are bringing in, you know, an entourage. So only the buyer should, you know, show up. Kids should not be in attendance. You know, wear face masks, wash your hands, or use the hand sanitizer. But again, we don't want to ruin this as far as the essential worker for our members to do their business. So that's why the big jump. And we begin a lot of those. We have two other kind of peaks of fines. One of them is the coming soon new status. You need to have that coming soon authorization form signed by the broker or the sales manager and the seller and sent a copy to us at the association. I'm not receiving those. I do send a courtesy email, you know, saying, hey, where is it? And they might say waiting on signatures. But that status is a no show, no offer status. So I get some people that'll email me back, oh, no, it doesn't have to be coming soon. I just accepted an offer. We showed it yesterday. You know, automatic fine. So again, you need to follow these rules. They're put in place to make everyone, you know, kind of have a fair shot of selling the property and have that transparent way of doing practice. The other one is the clear cooperation rule, MLS Rule 8.0, which means once you advertise something publicly, that means a yard sign, you put it on social media, you pass out flyers, you know, you start emailing that out as an email blast. Once you do that, you have 1 business day to put it in the MLS. So I'm getting people that are not following that rule either. They send a SELM, which is a seller exclude listing for multiple listing service, which is great. You could sell it among your office, but once you start advertising it publicly, it has to go in the MLS within 1 business day. So they're in violation of that. So again, I really hate sending out these fines, but we want to make sure everyone is cooperating and following the MLS rules. So if you don't understand these, call me, I'll explain them to you. I'm happy to talk at the broker sales meetings to make sure everyone is crystal clear, because we are getting a lot of fines. So anyway, again, if you have any questions, call me.
Yeah, Jamie, we had a few questions, one from Jeannie Radsick and another one from John Houchin. John asked what candidates are you talking about, and then I'd like Jeannie to jump in after that with her question.
I'm sorry, candidates. What is, oh, that's.
Actually, I was going to go back to what Jamie was talking about. Is there a fine, Jamie, for people who do not provide the PED?
If it's in your agent remarks or showing instructions, you must follow, and we have a URL that, you know, states all the little guidelines. So it's easy to add that URL. I have some large offices that the transaction coordinator, when they input a listing, they automatically put that in for the agent. So if it's in there, I have an MLS rule. that says you have
Okay,
to
so
follow the showing instructions.
in the agent remarks, I have put in there, please send your PEDs to, and I have my email.
Yes, perfect. So if they did not follow it, an automatic fine of $500.
Fabulous. Can I also put, this is a snarky question, just telling you, for those of you who know me, might know that I have a snark here and there. I want to put a list in my agent remarks of those agents who may not show my properties because they don't provide PEDs.
Sure, yes.
Is that okay?
And it's very important. And again, following those guidelines, you know, they work so hard making everyone essential, and Kern County could easily, and I don't know if Kim's, you know, listening, she may chime in, but you guys could lose all that. So very important. You know, few bad apples could ruin it for everybody.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, Jamie, and John Houchin on his question, what candidates are you talking about? He's referring to the candidates that are running for the office that CAR supports.
And that might be a David Knob or Gene Radzik answer.
Yep, that sounds like it. I'll have John.
Hey, John,
Dave, you
I don't
there?
know if you can hear me. I can get the list of the candidates that are being supported, and I can send it to someone in there at the board, and maybe they can send it out.
But understand, I'm not sure what John's question is driving at. In other words, are you looking local? Are you looking statewide? We do not support national candidates. We are not taking a position for anyone running for president. Right? I want to be very clear about that.
Very clear.
We are, I don't know, who do we have? We don't have anybody locally running, do we? Oh, Vince is running. Vince Fong is running. Kim?
Yeah, so you've got Assemblymember Fong. All the congressional seats are up every 2 years, right?
Right.
We've got some local city council races. LCRC is doing interviews, I think in just a couple weeks. But important to remember, we don't endorse. I mean, we only endorse if we have like a really long standing relationship with a candidate, and the board feels strongly that it's needed to help them win. But we don't. We give financial support, but we don't endorse on the local level. And sometimes we even donate to multiple candidates if we don't know for sure we're going to win. It's a business decision. It always has been. So we pick the winners.
And CAR does not endorse local. That would be the Bakersfield Association endorsing or supporting the locals, not CAR.
Right. However, we do, for local candidates, we do apply for funding for independent expenditures from both NAR and CAR if needed. I think in the primary election we spent around $100,000 in IEs from the National Association of Realtor Funding for local candidates on the supervisor races. So hope that helps.
Great. Thank you, Kim. Wanted to thank Agape Mortgage for our sponsorship for the gift card. And to get that gift card, I needed to tell you all that. To get that gift card, you actually have to, you will get a survey. We're trying to make ourselves better here at the MLS Open Forum. So if we can get you to fill out that survey and send it back in, that way we can get your feedback. You will be entered in the drawing for the gift card from Agape Mortgage. We really appreciate their support. They've been really good to support a lot of the programs here at the association. And please fill out the form so we can get better, because we are trying to give you pertinent information and bring to you what you want to hear. This is for us, by us, and we want to keep this fresh and interesting for all of our members. So I think if Jamie doesn't have anything more, I will end this meeting and wish everybody a happy and prosperous day out there. Go get those listings, because that's what it's all about. And we will see you on the next MLS Open Forum next month.